This is my presentation on parenthood. My name is Regina Lee, and this is for our Sociology 323 course. So what is parenthood? Parenthood, by definition, is the state of being a parent and the responsibilities that are involved with being a parenthood. Some of these responsibilities include the rewards and costs of being a parenthood and building a home for a child. And in regards to building a home for a child, it's being able to provide a safe environment, providing a quality education for the children, and just meeting the financial needs of having a child. When it comes to parenthood, there are different types of parenting styles, as listed below. The first one is the authoritarian style. This is the style where there is a high amount of parent monitoring and a low amount of parental emotional and warmth. And the next one is the authoritative parenting style, and this is when there is a high amount of monitoring and a high amount of emotional support. And the next one is the permissive emotional, and this is when there is a low amount of parenting monitoring and a low amount of parental emotional support. And the permissive is the last style, which this is when there is a low amount of parental monitoring and a high amount of parental warmth. There are different benefits and costs of each types of parenting style. You can get, a typically good child raised, or you can get a spoiled child that doesn't have any authority of their life. There's just different types of parenting styles. So when it comes to parenting, there are a few things that are to consider. Some of these things are the rewards and costs of parenthood. In 2013, the average cost of raising a child from birth to 18, that not including college, was $245,000. And that's just the average cost. The next thing to consider is the couple happiness. Some couples will choose to have children and will have stress or financial needs placed on them that causes just a burden in the relationship, and that's something to consider. The next thing to consider be the ability to fully care for your child. This may seem like an obvious thing, but some people are not able to fully provide a fully nurturing and emotional environment for their children, or to provide a quality education and placing their children in the right programs, and even just raising their children religiously, regardless if it is like Christianity or Catholicism or Buddhism, whatever it is. But children should be raised around religion, even if they're not enforced in their family. It's just to educate them and have them be more open-minded. And another thing to just consider is just the medical support and cost. This could be when you're pregnant and there's some doctor visits or the hospital visits, or even when as your child is born, there's some, to make sure your child is healthy and make sure there's no disabilities. It's just some people just can't afford that, and that might be something that people should consider before having a child. When it comes to parenting, there are a lot of new common parental trends. Some of these trends include voluntary childlessness, and what this is that people are just simply choosing to just not have children in their relationship. In 2014, 15% of women said 15% of women that are between ages 44 to 49 just had no children. And in 2001, there's a study that conducted that 70% of women said no to the question of, do women need to have children to experience the complete life? And so another trend is just the timing of having children. We're seeing people having children later. We're seeing people having children earlier in their relationship. There's just different benefits and costs. Some of them are just, the chance of fertility and the chance of pregnancy being more higher when you're earlier and then lower when you're later. And it's just another one of just your career choice. Some careers allow you to have more time when you're it'd be better for you to have a child when you're earlier in your career. Some of them, you want to develop your career, then be able to financially provide for your child. Some more trends are just the amount of children. We're seeing people that are having only children. Some people are having more than 2 children nowadays. It's just the amount of children is ranging now. Just the religious methods of like abstinence and conception and just planning, family planning. In the Orthodox religion, it's just their plan. It is a religious tradition to just have marital abstinence, and then the Protestant religion, you're able to use the gift of science as long as it's like appropriate time and it's mutual consensus between the two partners. Another trend is that we're seeing more non-marital births, and this is just a lot of couples that are choosing parenthood before marriage. Marriage is also becoming a less and less common thing. Another thing is just mothers by choice. There are people who their ultimate goal is to just be a mother, and they may not have a relationship, or they just choose to be pregnant, or by choice they don't want to be married to their partner, or they want to leave their partner. Another common one is just teen pregnancy and multi-partnered fertility. And so what this one is, could be someone who has a child with multiple partners, so therefore they're not married to any of these partners, but their children are coming from different partners. And another very common trend is just adoption, and there's three different types that we're seeing that are very common is the minority adoption, which is you're adopting someone from a minority, like a different country perhaps, or someone just in a lower income community that you are fostering or adopting. Another common one is just the adopting a child that may have disabilities. Maybe they're a little bit older, or their family can no longer care for them, so they're putting them up for adoption. Or just even the common international adoption, adopting someone from a different country and bringing them to the United States. So when it comes to parenting in the 21st century, there are many advantages and disadvantages. Let me talk about the advantages first. So some of the advantages are that there are many resources nowadays, and this could be like medical resources. This could be, in the schools, there's more information. There's more books that you can read on. It's just throughout the time, there's been more resources and research is conducted where you can use that and apply to your childhood and people to reach out to, whether it's doctors or your older generations. There's just more experience with raising children. Another thing that could be seen as an advantage is just we live now in a digital culture, and so with that, it could just be the technology, whether it's medically or it's with raising your children, like maybe someone with disabilities. Technology can be used to help parents communicate with their children better now, and even with just like parenting as a whole. Some parents are choosing to raise their children on and around technology, and some are just choosing to not. There are benefits to both. Another advantage is just like the common like roles of like society. There's a lot more out there now, so your children might have more of an example to be raised around. There's just a variety of childcare, so you can always bring to a daycare your parents or a neighbor, just a bunch of different types of things, and just the educational advances as time has gone on. There are more studies and research is conducted to create a better curriculum and core for children and other educational like activities. Some disadvantages about parenting in the 21st century is that we're seeing a lot of working versus parenting now. Of course, like to provide for a child, you have to have a job and stable income. But some of the times, parents will work a full day and then come home, and they'll want to spend time with their child, but they don't have enough time because their child has to go to bed or they have to prepare for work the next day. So a lot of parents are coming home after work and wishing they had more time with their child. There's just a lot of conflicting views in society right now, so that could be a disadvantage because it's just a matter of fact of choosing what view you want to raise your child around, and if you want to raise them openly, or even if you raise them one way, society might say that that's the incorrect way, but to you that's correct, and that's just something that is a very tough decision for families to go through in this current century and modern time. And there's just some other disadvantages, such as like the responsibility of having to raise, I guess, typically a good child as the responsibility of a parent. The woman progressive eras, women are progressing and doing their own thing. So raising a girl and female into this common society could be a struggle, and it's a little bit tougher. And just the prevalence of divorce and marriage in our society is just a very common trend that we're seeing. So that could be something that parents are having to deal with if they're getting divorced or if their children are seeing it through their friends and families. Yeah, and this is my reference. Thank you. That was it.